Crop Talk on Market Journal is supported by Nebraska's soybean farmers and their checkoff. Moving on, as of July 19th, southern rust has been confirmed in several Nebraska counties. With this disease developing earlier than usual and spreading further north than typical, producers in central and eastern portions of the state should be on high alert and scouting their fields. Market Journal producer Bill Dodd had the opportunity to get the latest information from Nebraska Extension plant pathologist Tamra Jackson-Ziems.
Common rust that we could shoot behind us here on this other leaf. This week I want to make everyone aware that we have confirmed southern rust moved into Nebraska now, and at the time of taping here we have confirmed it in about a dozen different counties in the extreme eastern third of Nebraska. And so I encourage everyone to take a look at the map. That's at the Corn IPM Pipe Southern Rust map, and it'll give you an idea that all of those locations are scattered around that eastern side of the state. Keep in mind as you are looking at that map that counties shaded in red have at least one sample from a cornfield that has had southern rust. It by no means implies that all of the fields in that county are affected. However, you should keep in mind though that the level of infection across that area, or what we call incidence, varies a lot from county to county, and in some areas it's easy to find in the fields there. Otherwise, in other counties it's still very difficult to find. So we're still on the front end or the edge of what this could be for us in a few weeks. Over time, as we look at the weather forecast, which at this point looks quite favorable with high relative humidity, still having some rainfall events, and also we're seeing temperatures averaging between about 75 to 85, which is about perfect for the southern rust fungus. We'll continue to see disease increase in severity in the affected fields, and it will continue to move because these spores produced by the fungus travel long distances on the wind. Our most important message today is that you don't know if you have southern rust until you get out and scout some of these cornfields. And when you're out in the cornfields, there's a few things to look for. Rust diseases, especially southern rust, are going to produce orange or tan pustules on that top leaf surface primarily. And in fact, those orange spores may rub off on your fingers because they're very much like dust. Keep in mind though, we also have common rust. Often that will also be on the bottom of the leaf. Sometimes the color differs a little bit. It may be darker, more like a dark brown or cinnamon color. But it's important to note which one you have, because we aren't concerned about common rust because we have natural resistance to that disease. If you need help identifying southern rust or any other disease like tar spot that is active in the state right now too, please submit a sample to the UNL Plant and Pest Diagnostic Clinic or reach out to your local county extension educator for help. We do have management options for southern rust if you need to do so, and so fortunately we have a number of commercially available foliar fungicides that do a very good job of controlling southern rust and tar spot, the other disease that's active in the state right now. If you're interested in looking at what those options are and how well they have performed in research-evaluated tests, check out the Crop Protection Network for corn fungicide efficacy, and check out the publication on the Crop Protection Network that shows tables of all of the diseases and the commercially available fungicides and how they performed in controlling them. This year here in Nebraska, there are some risk factors that I want to point out. In particular, it is unusually early to see this much southern rust, especially this far north in the state. And so a lot of people may not be expecting it yet, especially in the northeast part of the state where we're already beginning to see it, and we rarely see it. In addition, we have high risk factors for other fields, such as those that have maybe were planted late in that wide planting date range that we've got right now, or replanted due to some of the water damage and some of the earlier storms. The corn in those fields will be earlier in maturity and more vulnerable to losses later on in the season, and so it may be important to continue to scout those areas and provide protection for them with a fungicide if needed.